welcome to our event. It gives us great pleasure to have you all with us at the opening of our London office. I would firstly like to welcome on behalf of Michael Kyrpianou Co LLC our honourable guests, His Grace Athanasios, Bishop of Tropeou, Mr. Kostas Staphos, Commercial Attaché of the High Commission, Mr. George Dimitriadis, representative of the Deputy Minister of Shipping of the Republic of Cyprus, the first Greek Cypriot Member of Parliament, Mr. Bambos Charalambos, Mr. Peter Dioursodis, Cyprus Enterprise Board Member. Our dear colleagues from the UK, our business associates and our clients, thank you so much for coming today. I trust that this event will meet your expectations, and our main intention is to introduce our new office in London. The Cyprus government invests a great deal in promoting Cyprus as an attractive destination and investment as a financial destination. And because pictures paint 1,000 words, we would like to invite you to view this short and interesting video produced by SIPA, the Cyprus Investment Program Promotion Agency.
Cyprus, a European Union and Eurozone member at the crossroads of 3 continents, is the ideal dynamic business centre, connecting Europe with Africa, Asia and the Middle East. Cyprus continues to enhance the international business initiatives of investors.
Η παρουσία ξένων επενδυτών πρώτον αποδεικνύει την εμπιστοσύνη προς το σύστημα και προς την κυπριακή οικονομία ευρύτερα.
Cyprus provides a resilient market economy, one of the most competitive corporate tax frameworks in the EU, combined with a range of double tax treaties with more than 50 countries worldwide, excellent telecommunications and infrastructure, and above all, a well-educated, dynamic and entrepreneurial talent pool.
We have excellent human capital, we have local expertise, we have very sophisticated business services, which is exactly what any entrepreneur or investor would seek. In essence, Cyprus is a very advanced business hub.
We have a great potential in labor market. We have a great amount of great professionals working in financial sectors with great expertise and knowledge.
Cyprus has a transparent legal and regulatory framework which has evolved from common law and is harmonised with the European Union legal framework. With its geographical location and favourable infrastructure system, Cyprus is ready to capitalise on recently discovered reserves. Cyprus has made liberalisation of the energy sector a priority and is ready to maximise the country's full energy potential.
With the recent discoveries of hydrocarbons in the Cyprus exclusive economic zone, there are numerous opportunities that one can pursue either in the upstream, in the midstream or in the downstream.
Cyprus has become a centre of worldwide shipping. A record number of shipping and shipping-related companies from around the world have a presence here, and over 1,000 ships are registered in Cyprus.
We have chosen Cyprus because of the Cyprus legislative system being based on the British system, and also because of the Cyprus workforce being to a large extent educated not only here in Cyprus but at universities abroad. I consider Cyprus as having a unique opportunity for shipping activities. Cyprus is a unique place for the future to do business.
Cyprus has 2 new international airports, a modern highway network and multi-purpose port facilities. Large development projects have been completed or are currently in development in the areas of tourism, real estate and energy.
It has a favourable geographical location, it is a member of the EU, it has deep sea waters close to shore that can accommodate large vessels. Generally, Cyprus has many advantages for attracting investments in our view.
The Cyprus Investment Promotion Agency and the Cyprus government are there not only to offer all the support needed to investors, but also to recognise and reward each year's success stories.
On behalf of my team, who do a fantastic job, I'm very, very proud to receive this tonight. We have a track record in Cyprus, and we look forward to continuing to offer our wealth and investment management expertise to all our clients in Cyprus. Thank you.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, I can officially state that the sky is blue, the water is still crystal clear, the food is exceptional, people are more friendly and with much better sense of humor than ever. Life is good, we are staying. Thank you very much, Cyprus.
Cyprus is indeed inviting, from its talented people to its treasured culture. Combining a rewarding standard of living in tune with nature and Cypriot hospitality, Cyprus is a dynamic place to live. More importantly, Cyprus is a dynamic place to invest, offering clusters of advantages in a wide range of promising investment sectors.
All the basic characteristics of Cyprus and its economy, in essence, constitute a set of incentives for new business and new investment.
Θεωρώ εκ των πλέον σημαντικών στοιχείων η προσέλκυση ξένων επενδύσεων. Γι' αυτό και εστιάζεται η προσοχή μας στην έξοδο προς χώρες, αλλά και αποτεινόμαστε σε σοβαρούς επενδυτές, λαμβάνοντας υπόψη και τα όσα προσφέρει η Κύπρος, έτσι ώστε να καταστήσουμε δυνατή την προσέλκυση νέων επενδύσεων που θα δώσουν, όπως είπα και προηγούμενα, την επανεκκίνηση, την αναγέννηση και πάλι της οικονομίας.
I would now like to call upon Bishop Athanasios of Tropeou, who will give us a blessing for the auspicious event and for our new offices.
Dear Mr. President of Michael Kyrpianou Co, with your collaborators, distinguished guests, dear speakers of the seminar Cyprus Jurisdiction, an Ideal European Destination, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, allow me to thank you for extending your invitation to the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of Thyateira in Great Britain to attend this seminar by sending her representative in order to celebrate the launch of the London offices of Michael Kyrpianou Co. Furthermore, I bring you blessings, fraternal greetings and congratulations from His Eminence Gregorios, Archbishop of Thyateira in Great Britain, on whose behalf I am with you. Please allow me to add my own personal greetings, congratulations and blessings. I wish you every success in your endeavor. May God bless your attempts for this informative and enlightening seminar, which will touch on a number of interesting and contemporary issues, as well as having a panel discussion about Brexit at the end. Thank you for listening, and I pray for the success of this new venture. Certain of the success of this seminar, I am very happy to join you. Thank you.
I now call on one of the partners of law firm Michael Kyrpianou Co LLC, Mr. Savas Savidis, who will be giving us a welcome speech. We have two of the partners of the law firm with us today, Mr. Lambros Sotiriou and Mr. Savas Savidis, and we look forward to both their presentations.
Thank you. I speak His Grace Athanasios Bishop of Tropeou, Commercial Attaché of the High Commissions of Cyprus, Mr. Kostas Dafos, Representative of the Deputy Minister of Shipping of the Republic of Cyprus, Mr. George Dimitriadis, our dear colleagues from UK, our business associates, dear clients and friends, thank you for being with us tonight. The law firm of Michael Kyrpianou Co LLC was founded in 1991 by the late Michael Kyrpianou, who initially set up our Nicosia office. Michael always had a passion about London, and his dream has today come to reality with the hard work of the staff of the firm and particularly the partners of the firm. It will be amiss me if I do not thank our guest speakers who willingly and enthusiastically gave up their precious times to update us on their specialized areas, and I'm sure that their presentations will be of significant interest to all of you. There is a wide range of topics which hopefully will give you some food for thoughts. And for those of you who are looking at investing, doing business in Cyprus, or even relocating in Cyprus, I'm sure that you will find something valuable on today's presentations. We have also today members of the media from London newspapers and TV channels, namely the London Greek Radio, the Hellenic TV, and Εκεί newspaper. So don't forget to smile while you are here today, because you will be on TV tonight. I would like also to take this opportunity to say a few words about our law firm. As you can see from today's events, the company is expanding globally. Our team of 60 lawyers is doing its best to provide a service that meets the company's principles of professionalism, integrity, and efficiency. We now have 9 offices in 6 countries, and our services include corporate, commercial law, immovable property law, immigration law, dispute resolutions, shippings, and many other fields of law. We'll be more than happy to talk to you after this event. I take this opportunity as well to announce a very prestigious award that is going to be given to the firm the following Thursday. The firm is being recognized for its excellence in services, so this Thursday will be invited at the Presidential Palace in order to receive the award from the President of the Republic, Mr. Nikos Anastasiadis. It's a very prestigious award, and we are really very proud of this, because at the end of the day, it shows that the hard work is being well recognized after all these years. Thank you very much for being with us tonight, this afternoon. And at this stage, I would like to recommend you a very important person as well, who is with us today, Mr. Theo Adoniou, which is the head of our London office. Theo, please.
Thank you, Savas, for your introduction. Distinguished guests, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor that the firm of Michael Kyrpianou Co LLC offered me that position to get the London office. Being part of such a successful team, which over the years has managed to become one of the leading law firms in Cyprus, it is a huge responsibility that burdens me personally for success of another of the firm's office abroad, cosmopolitan London, which is the midpoint between the United States of America and Europe. Cyprus has always had a special bond with the United Kingdom, and we must not forget that Cyprus law derives from common law, since it is a common law country. There is much interaction between the United Kingdom and Cyprus, especially as English is predominantly used in the business world and has always been a preferred choice as much for business activities as for retirement and many other purposes. From my side, I give you my assurance to do my utmost in providing an efficient service. I will make sure that the London will follow the same principles as the rest of the firm in cornerstones of efficiency, professionalism, and integrity. I look forward to meeting you all and offer the services of the London office above all. And big thanks to my colleagues and delegates who are with us today, and to all of you individually for your presence. Thank you very much.
And now I would like to call on Mr. George Dimitriadis, who is representing the Deputy Minister of Shipping, to come up and introduce our next speaker, Gina Panayotou, who is the Head of Shipping of Michael Kyrpianou Co LLC.
Your Excellency, distinguished delegates, participants, ladies and gentlemen, it is me a great pleasure and honor to be present here today in this important seminar marking the opening of the new office of Michael Kyrpianou in London, a milestone in the history of the company which is characterized by steady growth and success. Michael Kyrpianou Co, having its headquarters in Cyprus, was founded in 1991, as we heard earlier, and today is one of the leading law firms in Cyprus, reputable both locally and in global markets. The company maintains the highest degree of professionalism and has managed to enjoy steady growth and success through its effectiveness and reliability. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your contribution to the shipping cluster of Cyprus and to the Cyprus economy in general. Shipping is an invaluable asset for Cyprus, and with significant political and economical advantages. At the same time, Cyprus has established itself as a quality register. The maintenance of a high-quality fleet and the effective implementation of internationally applicable safety, security, and environmental protection standards is the foundation on which Cyprus builds its reputation as a serious maritime flag and as a base for international operations. The Cyprus government has placed and maintains shipping among its central priorities, a testimony of the government's commitment to support shipping industry in the creation of a self-standing shipping deputy ministry in March 2018, a year ago. The transformation of the Department of Merchant Shipping to the Shipping Deputy Ministry has increased the functionality, effectiveness, and flexibility of the Cyprus Maritime Administration, with direct and imminent effects on the flag and the Cyprus shipping cluster. Ladies and gentlemen, having a top sovereign quality flag and a prominent international maritime cluster requires constant forward momentum. The excellent cooperation between the public and private sector is key to this. It is remarkable and hugely encouraging that almost every single member of the Cyprus maritime community shares the same values and consistently strives for excellency in their day-to-day work. Michael Kyrpianou Co is such an example. The growth of the company and the quality of the services is a result of the excellent culture, high caliber, and hard work of its people. Congratulations, and for the award that you could be getting next week. I would like to assure you that the Shipping Deputy Ministry will support you in all initiatives, and I would like to wish you all best wishes and in your future endeavors. Thank you very much.
Even better. Okay, thank you, Mr. Dimitriadis, and thank you to the Deputy Ministry for always being by our side in anything that has to do in shipping and promoting Cyprus. I think that you also saw a very interesting video from SIBA, where also some of the shipping companies were introduced and talked about the benefits of Cyprus shipping. So I'm going to give you just some few brief pointers basically on what Cyprus shipping is about, the benefits of our island as a shipping jurisdiction. So I'll just start before we've got the slides. So obviously, as you've heard, we're one of the few jurisdictions that also have a newly established denoted shipping deputy ministry that is only focused on providing these and looking out for the shipping cluster. So our ministry was established a year ago. It was before this, it was under the Ministry of Transport. So now we've got the full attention and focus, and it has been leading some great initiatives. I'm going to show you some figures at the end of the presentation. It also has delegations in many countries, like London, obviously.
You are
Athens.
on,
I'm on? Okay, great. So as I said, we've got delegations of the ministry in Athens, London, in Brussels, Hamburg, New York, Hong Kong, Singapore. Cyprus shipping, as the representatives of some of the shipping companies said in the opening video, is a stable and business-friendly framework for local and foreign investors. It also is based on UK legal common law framework, so many similarities, and it's quite simple and straightforward. We've also got a unique geographical location for shipping between continents, three continents, Europe, Asia, and Africa. A key player in the maritime industry, so it's the 11th largest merchant fleet worldwide and the 3rd in the EU. It has a favorable tax regime, beneficial tonnage tax system, so any companies operating and managing the vessels in Cyprus fall under the tonnage tax system, which means that they're not under the income tax, which is much more favorable because it goes according to the net weight of the vessels. And there's also an alternative shipping investment scheme that can be achieved in obtaining a Cyprus passport via investments basically in the country. So flying the Cyprus flag is an EU high quality flag with diplomatic protection provided to Cyprus ships worldwide. It's white-listed under the Paris and Tokyo MOUs. It's not included in the list of targeted flag states on the US Coast Guard, which makes things a lot more simpler for those who know about shipping. There's low flag registration costs when you register in Cyprus. It's fast and efficient registration process. No stamp duty on mortgages or deeds or any security documents. Low corporate setup and operational costs, so for setting up an entity in Cyprus, the costs are very minimal. It's a very fast procedure and efficient one. And full protection for financiers and mortgages. So it takes 2 weeks to register a company approximately, and a same-day flag registration if all of the applications have been filed, of course. A few more points about the Cyprus flag. It has an excellent safety record of the Cyprus fleet, a safe coastal navigation in Cyprus. Local inspectors are based in various jurisdictions and important ports to assist our vessels flying the Cyprus flag in inspections, port stage controls, etc. It's a signatory to all international maritime conventions on safety and pollution and has bilateral agreements with 26 countries through which the Cyprus ships receive either national or favored nation treatment in ports of the countries. The tax benefits, we have an EU-approved flexible tonnage tax system. I won't go more into detail. If you want, you can ask towards the end of the presentation or during the reception. Full exemption from corporate income tax if you qualify under the tonnage tax system. Double tax avoidance treaties with 50 states. A stable economic environment, consistent government policy. No exchange controls, zero withholding tax on the repatriation of income, freedom of movement of foreign currency, no thin capitalization rules, and it's tax neutral restructuring for both EU and non-EU group companies. The next slide is the numbers that I mentioned. So if you see that from 2013 until 2019, we had a total of 103, and now it's 203 companies under the tonnage tax system. So that's it in numbers. And before I go into a video, which I think it's better to hear from the people who have invested in this industry in Cyprus, I just want to save the date. Maritime Cyprus is an event that happens biannually in Cyprus. It's taking place between the 6th and 9th of October. And you can find all about it. It's an exhibition, a conference. And this year, under the auspices of the Deputy Ministry, there's a lot of work going on into making it as interactive and as thorough as possible. So anybody interested in Cyprus shipping should definitely save the date and be there. And there are the perks, of course, of Cyprus. A few pictures there. And now I would just like to present a short video.
The Cyprus shipping cluster is a very vibrant and buzzing cluster. It has managed to expand a lot in recent years. Both the public sector and the private sector are very proud in offering excellence of service. We have plans to keep upgrading our services and to meet all the needs and exceed all the expectations of our existing clients and also all the new clients that come to Cyprus.
Because Cyprus is a modern shipping center with a reputable flag and a business-friendly maritime administration, as well as with an EU-approved competitive shipping taxation system and a highly developed maritime cluster.
The shipping industry is very volatile and it's an ever-changing world, so you have to be focused on your business to succeed. I think that ship owners and big companies can run efficiently their headquarters from Cyprus. This is my experience.
The Cyprus shipping provides young professionals the opportunity to start their careers in a very dynamic and established industry and the opportunity to develop further.
Well, in 1972, I was sent down here. And it's a long time ago, but I can say I would do the same again. Cyprus is a fantastic small island and has today a very big maritime cluster. Everything functions on this island. Living in Cyprus is a pleasure, and you work here at least as much as you do in Northern Europe. Cyprus is my island.
So I'm going to leave it there with Cyprus is My Island by Captain Scheller, who is the founder of Cyprus Shipping, if I may call him that. Thank you very much for your attention. And I'm at your disposal during the reception for any clarifications or further information you may require.
It is with immense pleasure that I introduced our next speaker, Mr. Tassos Yasemidis, who is a board member of KPMG, followed by Mr. Lambros Sotiriou, partner at Michael Kyrpianou Co LLC, who both have many years of experience in this field and who will share with us some of their knowledge on the topics of Cyprus as a corporate destination.
Good afternoon from my side also. Sava, thank you for organizing this. Theo, obviously good luck, and I am sure that the London office will be as good or even more successful than Malta, Greece, Ukraine and Dubai that we already have. I'm here specifically to take it over Tassos and speak about investment firms, funds, and I will touch base a bit on trusts. We live in very interesting times, especially with the Brexit looming, financial services and the over-regulation of it. Everything will be different. In whatever way you're going to see it, things are changing. But I genuinely believe that opportunities never stop. Having said that, I'll start with Cyprus investment firms and the regulatory framework. We follow MiFID, and effectively a Cyprus investment firm can passport all its services into Europe. Hence, we have seen a lot of influx even from the UK, not leaving the FCA, but rather trying to also to establish into Cyprus just to have an open door into Europe. The required conditions are adequate initial capital, which depending on the license can vary from 40 to 80, 125 to 730,000. You have to have suitable shareholders. Here I want to make a note. Our regulator in the last 2-3 years has been extremely tough. And despite views to the contrary, they have also been over-regulating the market, even more than here, especially if you look at the circulars. Even for suitable shareholders, they actually want the shareholder to have experience in the investment firm, which is rather odd and bizarre because a shareholder is just an investor. But it's just for me to give you, to get an idea at the extent they're going to. You have to have staff, you have to have head office in Cyprus, and you have to have an operational manual and a business plan. Licensing procedure takes 6 months. As with everything in Cyprus, we have a fast track, but you have to pay the government 25,000 euros more for it as licensing application. What you can offer with the Cyprus investment firm is reception and transmission of orders. This is in transferable security, money market instruments, options, futures, swaps. Bear in mind that we have approximately 216 licensed investment firms in Cyprus. I would dare to say that majority of them deals with contracts for differences, also known as Forex. So I will make you understand what we're talking about. But a very big proportion of it also deals with portfolio management and investment advice, which also goes closely into funds. For the dealing on own account, you have to have a block capital of 730,000. You can also underwrite or place financial instruments or operate multi-trading facilities. The ancillary services are here, and whoever wants a presentation later on, I'll be happy to share it because there's no point me reading over it. I will quickly go to the funds. To start with, I would say is undertakings for collective investment in transferable securities, which is the UCITS law. We have it since 2012. It's the most difficult license that CySEC will give, and is the most, as I said, is not the most preferred one amongst investors, simply because it takes longer time and it has more regulatory burdens than alternative investment fund law. Without being sure, I'm under the impression that there is only 7 licensed UCITS in the island, which is small for a financial services center. However, taking that into alternative investment funds, as Tassos correctly pointed out, we were the first to enact this, and especially with the investment funds manager. Again, Cyprus Exchange Control Commission is the regulatory authority for it. You have the ability with an alternative investment fund to create unlimited investment compartments, which is effectively is like an umbrella fund. Yes? You can list those compartments into various stock exchanges, and you have freely transferable investor units, which is also very important, which is not transported to many EU countries. Again, you can passport the services. The type of alternative investment funds we have is one with limited number of persons, up to 50, and that is for professionals, which is much more easier to regulate rather than the one with unlimited number of investors in it. And we also have RAIFs, which is Registered Alternative Investment Funds. And here I should point out that we actually followed Luxembourg with their CCAFs. Delayed, but we actually did. As I said, for the limited number of persons, you can have up to a maximum of 50 investors, which is a very good vehicle to have. For the RAIF, it can be closed-ended, and you can do umbrellas. And most importantly, they are not really licensed by the regulator, but rather there is a RAIF register in order to operate. The caveat here, obviously, is that the investment fund manager and the custodian need to be regulated. To apply, generally speaking, you have to proceed and draft a memorandum of the fund prospectus, you have to give them a business plan in essence, an operational manual, and then the investment strategies of the fund. They will not allow you to have mixed strategies, rather that they would tell you, this is a securities fund, there is real investment funds, there's insurance funds, and they will make you have them separate, okay? The legal forms under the fund can be fixed or variable capital company, which is the usual ones. Limited liability partnership are used for shipping funds. And for those who want to know now, there's a very big effort of actually doing funds and proceeding ICOs, which is initial coin offerings on ships, which is also something very important. I will not touch base on taxes because obviously Tassos and Gina previously, I think, covered everything. We are an EU member state, so anything you do, it can be transported or passported into EU. We have favorable tax regime, especially for non-residents and non-DOMs. So what we've seen, because of the non-DOM legislation, what we have seen in the past year is that many people come and relocate into the island because of the beneficial tax treatment they have. And that's why I said earlier, times are different and the market is changing. From 5 or 10 years ago, when we usually actually used to have only holding companies in the island, just holding assets or other subsidiaries and having substance somewhere else, we are now becoming, I would dare to say, a more stable financial center with much more offering, and people understand that they need to spend money and have substance in the island. Continuing with the reasons, we have effective regulations. Hedge fund and fund managers prefer us as a location. Redomiciliation in and out is possible. And also you have real estate funds that are used for investments and for passport purposes. Lastly, I would speak about trusts. Trusts is a very difficult instrument because it's not a company for people to understand, because effectively you pass on your property, the legal ownership of the property, to the trustee. And it has been traditionally used as an inheritance vehicle and an asset protection vehicle. Largely these days we also use it for tax planning. But the most difficult thing is to convince someone that the property is going to donate to the trust is no longer his, but rather is yours as a trustee. There is no reporting requirements on trust. There is asset protection. There's freedom of choice. You can have it for unlimited duration. You can practically write everything into the deed of trust, governing the generations to come. You have obviously the option to appoint a protector. The settlor must not be a Cyprus resident, which is very important here, because I'm talking about international trusts and not a Cypriot-based trust. There's a distinction in our law. Also, the beneficiaries or the potential pools of beneficiaries must not be resident in Cyprus. After setting it up, they can, of course, become. And, of course, the trustees must be Cyprus residents. I'm making a note here, not Cyprus nationals, but Cyprus resident. Setror must be of full age. There must be certainty of intention to create it, of why you're creating it, and certainty in relation to what the trust has as underlying assets. Thanks a lot for the attention. Now, I hope I've not taken too much time.
Mrs. Denise Kay, partner at Sold on Cyprus, and Mr. Savas Savidis, partner of Michael Kyrpianou Co LLC, will speak on the topic of global mobility relating to Cyprus. And we thank them both for what I believe will be a very valuable contribution to this seminar.
My name is Denise Kay. I'm the Group Sales Director of a company called Sold on Cyprus. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak. I was born in London, but my chosen country is Cyprus. I moved to Cyprus in the year 2000, and I took tax residency in 2001. As you've heard this evening, the tax advantages of Cyprus was one of the main reasons at that time that I moved to Cyprus. I'm the owner of a licensed real estate agency, which was formed in 2002. My husband and I were the founders of the company, and we give independent advice to anybody that's considering buying or purchasing in Cyprus. We have offices all over Cyprus with professional consultants to guide people through their purchase, and our good friends here are available to give them good advice regarding their contractual procedures when they purchase a property. I was asked why Cyprus, what do I love about Cyprus? So I put something together to show you this evening. They say 1,000 words, I'd have to say. I'm good at talking a long time, but this is just some photographs and something about Cyprus just to show you why I love Cyprus.
What is return on investment? It's the benefit to the investor resulting from an investment. It's how much you get for how much you give. So, how much do you get when you invest in Cyprus? You get a high-potential, dynamically growing economy. You get a modern and attractive tax and legal system. You get high-quality professional services, highly qualified and multilingual personnel. You get location, location, location. But you also get a lot more. A kind of return on your investment that's harder to find in other destinations you might be considering. You get a safe place to relocate yourself, your employees, your business. The crime rate in Cyprus is one of the lowest in the world. A sunny place. Cyprus's Mediterranean climate means you can enjoy almost 300 days of sunshine per year. A diverse place. You can enjoy the beauty of the beach and the serenity of the mountains with just a 30-minute drive. Cultured place. You can enjoy 12,000 years of history through museums, archaeological sites, and religious sites. You can enjoy classical and modern art performances, sports of all sorts, an active lifestyle, and so much more. There is never a dull moment, unless, of course, you simply want to tone it down and relax, which you can also do in a variety of resorts, nature excursions, or small picturesque villages. you get a country that's great for kids and families. There are more than 90 high-level international schools, a plethora of parks, playgrounds and year-round family events. Perhaps you thought you couldn't have the best of both worlds. In Cyprus, you can. A country that's exceptional for business and ideal for living. A country where your real return on investment lies not only in numbers, but also in the quality of life that you, your family, and business associates will enjoy. Your investment will yield long-term business returns and unique personal rewards. It's time to redefine your return on investment. It's time to invest in Cyprus.
Okay, I think what I've tried to say is that our good friends today have tried to go through and explain the benefits in numbers, but Cyprus means so much more, particularly to myself and my company. We relocate clients to Cyprus to live and take advantage of the tax advantages, but we also deal with people looking for holiday homes that need capital growth on their investment, those that are actually looking to rent out their investment properties. We also look after clients that are looking for relocation to take advantage of the investment programme. So why? Why Cyprus? And do you want a good return on your investment? Of course we do. Good capital growth, excellent rental income, then yes, choose Cyprus. And as our friend recently said, there is a positive economic outlook. And in the overview, we have a very robust GDP growth, one of the fastest growing economies in the EU. So everything is very positive for anyone that's looking in any area of investment, whether that is a large investment or a small investment. The outlook is positive in Cyprus. Tourism has had record-breaking years. The tourist arrivals keep coming. Hotel rooms are full, new hotels are being built, rental increase and demand is increasing. We've had an infrastructure revolution. Since I've lived there in 18 years, there's been many marinas built, with 2 more marinas currently under construction. We've had numerous prestigious awards and one of the best climates in the world. All the beaches are blue flag beaches, and lots of new different projects like casinos. The increase in sales contracts and building permits due to the demand, so this proves there's capital growth. Increase in properties sold to international investors, attractive incentives like the Cyprus Investment Programme, hotels, as I mentioned, renovations and acquisitions, booming construction activity, marina and golf projects. What can you expect? If we keep it very simple, most people just say to me, what if I bought a holiday home in Cyprus? Could I rent that property out? So if we want to look at figures, this is just an example that we looked at for one of our recent investors that bought an investment 3-bedroom villa for 400,000. And basically, we based it on figures on Airbnb over a 24-week period. So we've kept it very conservative. And the rental returns are 7% on that particular villa. We also looked at another case study, somebody that invested 150,000, and they were receiving a rental return of 8%. If you wish to discuss anything regarding investing, rental returns, any area of Cyprus, then we do have real choice for you and qualified advice. We're independent. We use very good lawyers for our contracts and very good advice, very good tax advice as well. But we also are independent in terms of choice of investments that you can find in Cyprus. Thank you.
Denise actually is a good example of persons that actually moved from UK to Cyprus, trusted Cyprus, invested in Cyprus, and at the end of the day, it works perfectly for her. So she's not the only one. There is a lot of people, and through my careers, I see a lot of people doing the same thing as Denise. She's been very successful all these times, and also to the fact that you've been to Cyprus in the good times and the bad times, but you insisted and yeah, that's an excellent example of a company that actually invested a lot over in Cyprus.
Real estate's long term.
Yes, thank you. And the other thing, yes, it's not an easy thing to get a license as a real estate agent in Cyprus. This is another issue. Things are very strict, and you are not. They don't give you permissions in order to be a real estate agent. There is a lot of companies that they are advertising properties, but they are not really real estate agents. It's very important to be a real estate agent because if you're selling your property, then for capital gains taxes purposes, you need a receipt from a registered estate agent in order to be able to get tax allowance from selling. So if you actually use someone who's not registered as a estate agent, then at the end of the day, you're going to face problems with the tax authorities not accepting the invoice. So sometimes you're charging a lot, by the way, real estate. Not only you, I'm talking about the estate agents. Sometimes you can get... okay, I will give you the chance. Sometimes they can charge up to 5 or 10%, depends on what kind of agreements you have with the client, of course. And then surprisingly, you find yourself that you paid all this money and you don't get anything out from it. Defend yourself now.
Yes, the reason I say we charge that amount of money is because we have to bring the clients to Cyprus. It's not a case of just advertising locally. We have to go to market. Obviously, the internet is a massive provider now of clients, but we do exhibitions, we travel all over the world. We have offices, international offices in Asia and in, where is it? My man?
Sorry, what?
Where is our office? Vietnam.
Vietnam, sorry.
Gentle people here. So we have to go to market. We can't just sit and wait for people to come. But I'd like to think, from my company, I like your strapline, we care, because I've had that for many years. That we care. It's not a real estate agent. We take the client from bringing them over, particularly the British. 80% of my clients are British. We bring them to Cyprus. We collect them from the airport. We give them accommodation, and we give them real choice. Independent choice throughout the island, depending on their requirement. So we're very client-driven. We're not property-driven. We need to establish what they're looking for. So is it an investment? Is it a holiday home? Is it to retire? What happens? I mean, at the moment, you can imagine, I have lots of questions from all my British retirees, over 1,000 in Cyprus, wanting to know, can we stay? We want to stay. What's going to happen with Brexit? So it's a big talk at the moment.
It's a big talk at the moment.
Yes,
yeah. And I'm going to suggest some ideas about that. So
yes. So definitely, they're there. They want to stay there. We help them through with your services to get their residency, to make sure that they are safe in Cyprus in terms of their tax. A lot of people try to I say it's living in both, one foot in each country, whereas for tax purposes, when they retire, with some simple advice, they can be so much better off. So it's a full service, along with yourselves in giving advice and making sure when they come to Cyprus, it's not just buying a house and goodbye. So, and with 16 years, I think, even if I say myself, at longevity, I think, particularly as I am British, and we do have a licence, which is fantastic. And yes, we can offer the whole package. So that's my 5%.
Right. Okay. Now, thank you, Denise. I'm going to carry on from what Denise had just said, and I'm going to give you some ideas about how you can become residents in Cyprus, which means that immediately you become an EU resident. I know that it's quite interesting at the moment, and I got a lot of clients asking me how I can do that and how can I still become I can carry on being an EU citizen. Now, Cyprus and global mobility then. Strategically situated at the crossroad of Europe, the Middle East, North Africa and Asia, Cyprus is becoming an even more important regional business center as well as international communications and transport hub. Now, what is global mobility? And what we're going to talk about at the moment, I'm going to skip actually this presentation, and I'm going to carry on to the next one, which I'm just going to put as a background only that video, and I'm going to tell you a story. Okay, every time that I'm traveling around in a seminar or I need to go to do a presentation somewhere, always my kids, they asking me, and I'm going in through interview with them. Where are you going? How long are you going to stay? What are you going to bring me when you're coming back? And all these questions. So I had some discussions with my oldest daughter, which is 7 years old, when she asked me, what are you going to talk about? And I said, I'm going to talk about global mobility. She looked at me very strangely and said, what is this? Very difficult to explain to a 7 years old child what is a global mobility. I really try very hard. Yesterday she was doing her homework. She was doing about King Arthur and his knives and the problems that he was facing with them, which actually everyone wanted to sit close to him. And he has serious problems about that, so he decided that he's going to create a round table. And when he did that, everyone was happy because everyone was sitting very close to the King Arthur. Then she said to me, Daddy, that means that King Arthur, he created a round table, which is a circle, and then from what you had explained me about global mobility, the Earth is a big circle, so it means people can travel around the world and will be happy. I said, that's a nice way to approach the whole issue. And I said to her, yes, more or less, that's true. Then she said to me, can I be a knife? I said, no. Why? Because you're a girl. That's not fair, he said back to me. And he did. Sometimes it's not fair. Coming up to the global mobility, yes, it's giving you the right to travel around the world, but there is rules and regulations. And you need to comply with these rules in order to be able to travel around the world without any problems. In the eyes of a 7-year-old child, sometimes we see a lot. And actually, she gave me the idea to see things in a more simplified way. And what I mean by that? These days, we see people moving around the world. We see people from Asia coming to Europe. We see people from all the end of the world choosing different destinations and deciding either to change their lifestyle or to change their business. Now, there is 2 ways that you can do that in Cyprus, and it's very important just to give a few, to explain them roughly, because it's not easy thing, just to explain them in 5 minutes in all the details. So what I'm showing here in the screen is in relations with 2 categories here, that you can get a residence permit in Cyprus and you can stay in Cyprus without actually having any problems with any immigration authorities. By getting a permanent residence, the well-known PR, is giving you the right to travel around Europe under some conditions. Now, what does this mean and what is these conditions? Unfortunately, there is countries that they got their own rules, okay? Even though we all coming under the European umbrella, there is some countries that they are, for example, they belong to the Schengen and some countries not. And Cyprus is one of the countries that doesn't belong to the Schengen. So under the circumstances, you need to check exactly, if I get the permanent residence in Cyprus, it means that I can travel to Greece, which is a Schengen country. The answer is yes. Now, how? It's a different issue. You need to make an application, all right? But the good thing, and what we are holding in our hands at the moment, is the fact that you got the permanent residence certificate in Cyprus, so you can easily get a visa to travel to Greece, which is a Schengen country, even though Cyprus is not a Schengen country. This is the standard, the category F and the regulation 6.2. The difference between these two is that the first one takes a little bit longer to get it. The second one, the regulation 6.2, is faster. Now, in practice, how long it will take to take category F, permanent residence under category F, maximum you will need around 7 to 8 months. Regulation 6.2, how long you can get a permanent residence under that regulation? Maximum 3 months. One of the other important distinctions between the two is that on the first one, you don't need to show any money being deposited in any bank account. The second one, the regulation 6.2, you need at least to show that 30,000 euros is being deposited in a bank account in Cyprus, and they will need to stay there for 3 years. It's yours money, doesn't belong to the government or anyone else. You're getting interest out of that. However, a very low interest, as Denise has said, which is roughly at the moment 1, maximum 2% if you're lucky enough. This is the one way of getting a permanent residence in Cyprus and getting the passports to travel around Europe. Another category, that's not me by the way, who is jumping. Okay, now, what benefits are you getting out from that? Oh, sorry. Now, what benefits are you getting out from getting a permanent residence in Cyprus? Right to attend government hospitals. That's another story, by the way, because we're trying to change the systems currently in Cyprus at the moment and to do something similar as in UK. Now, whether we're going to succeed on that, I don't know. But definitely, you got the right of access at the hospital as things as it stands at the moment, from the moment that you got the permanent residence. You got access to Cyprus educational systems. Cyprus PR permit lasts for a lifetime. There is no need to renew it. And that's an important part, because you don't need to apply and apply and apply over and over again after expirations of some time. Once it's granted forever. Not only the applicant, but also his family is granted the PR permit and the parents of the couple. So it covers the whole family, which again, your parents, they don't need to apply. For example, the parents of the applicants, they don't need to apply separately. They can go together with the main applicants. Getaway to Europe by easy access to all EU and non-EU embassies. Yes, that's true, with exceptions that as previously explained, that you need at least to comply with regulations whether the country that you're going, the European country that you're going to visit is within Schengen or not. Global mobility via investment. This is another cut. All the previous speakers, they touched that issue. And this is in relation with acquisitions of a Cyprus passport with just invested in a very small amount of 2 million euros plus VAT, if any. Now, 2,000 euros plus VAT, now you wonder why plus VAT and why you put in the bracket, if any. It depends, and since Denise is here, it depends on what type of property you buy. If you're buying a resale or if you're buying a new property. Because if you're talking about a new property, then you add to the 2 million 19%, which is the VAT on the property. If you buy a resale, however, then you don't pay any VAT. The authorities, however, in order to approve you to get the Cyprus passport, they need to see that at least you invested 2 million euros. The passport can be granted within 6 months. The whole family, including children up to the age of 28, subject to certain conditions. And what do we mean by that? If you got kids that currently they are in a university, okay, and they study, and you are the main applicants, you and your spouse, okay, you're the main applicants, and you got kids that still are pending on you, financially are still pending on you. Yes, they can get the passport themselves as well. From the moment that they are under the age of 28, then yes, they can get the passport. You need, however, to provide the authorities with the necessary certificates showing that indeed they are students and that financially they are depending on you. The main applicant's parents can acquire a CY passport with an extra investment of 5,000 euros. Yes, again, let's say that I'm an Asian, I'm moving over in Cyprus, or even better, let's say I'm a UK citizen now with a Brexit, okay, and I still want to hold a European passport in my pocket, then I invest 2 million, I'm buying a resale, I'm investing 2 million, then I want my parents to come with me because I want them to look after my kids. So if the parents as well, they invest 500,000 euros on the property, they can also get the passport. Currently, there is one restriction. You need to keep the investments for 3 years. So you're investing 2 million plus VAT if applicable. You need to keep that investment for 3 years. After 3 years, you have the right to sell the property, and the only conditions that applies is to keep at least a property of worth $500,000. So you can actually take advantages of the fact that currently the property market in Cyprus is doing very well. You're investing a property of the 2 million. In a 3 years' time, you're selling the property. You're keeping only a small house of 500,000, and then that's all. And we're not talking about investing only on properties for 2 million. You can do any kind of investments that you want. The aim is to reach the amount of the 2 million. So you can do combinations. For example, you can buy a property of $500,000 and then you invest the rest on a business activities, and then you can sell the business and keep the house at the end. Currently, this is going to change, however. So those that are applying after 15th of May, with the new changes that the government is introducing at the moment, Denise, you should know about that, I'm sure. The 3 years is going to be 5 years, which I don't believe that it's a big issue to keep the investments for 5 years, take into consideration that the investment is a good investment as it stands at the moment. The citizenship can be inherited. Yes, can be inherited. So those of the investors that are investing today, basically they're investing to the future of their children, because they can pass the Cyprus passport over to their children. And this is, again, a very important issue which distinguishes us with other countries that they're doing the same or similar program as the one that Cyprus is doing. Now, advantages of being an EU citizen. You all know what is the advantages of being an EU citizen. I'm not going to talk about this. One of the most important things is that you can travel all around Europe. You can attend universities with EU for no fees or even low fees. Traditionally, Cyprus and Cypriots, they always they see the EU as a destination for educational purposes. Things are going to change. We don't know how they're going to change now with the Brexit, but we're going to discuss this later on. But definitely, having an EU passport is giving you a lot of benefits. And that was the reasons, in any respect, that Cyprus has joined the EU on the first place. Now, reasons for choosing Cyprus. I'm not going to tire you anymore. The previous speakers had explained them very well. Now, what is this picture? Choose a destination, get a Cyprus passport, and go. This is the only thing that I can say. Thank you very much.
Finally, we now have a panel discussion on the implication of Brexit on UK citizens living in Cyprus. Mr. Savvasavidis shall take the lead in the discussion.
Okay.
Along with the rest of the panel.
When we choose to include that topic on our today's seminar, we was hoping, Gina, please. We was hoping that we're going to have something in our hands about Brexit. Unfortunately, it seems that, that's why I said to you, invite Mrs. May here tonight. But unfortunately, we don't have...
She doesn't know. So.
She does. So, we don't have any other... Oh, I think this is on. Yeah, okay. So, we don't have any other options that to discuss basically theoretically of what will happen, because we don't have anything solid, and as lawyers at least we cannot just make assumptions. We can make discussions about Brexit, but we cannot make any, we cannot give you any advice anyway about what will happen with Brexit. Of course, tonight with us we got colleagues from UK colleagues, which I'm sure Charles is playing with his mobile, knows a little bit more about that. Which he told me a story before this seminar started, and I would like to share it with the people if you're okay. Right, now, Esme, you're dealing with a lot of British clients, and I know for sure that through the years you had a lot of clients, British clients, coming over to you for advice on various issues, especially about property. Now, what is the situations now? Do you getting any questions from people about Brexit? And what is these questions, and what is your advice about Brexit?
Well, everybody wants to know, especially those who are actually living in Cyprus at the moment, where they stand. Can they continue to live in Cyprus? Can they continue to have access to healthcare, education? Where do they stand? Luckily, at the moment, whether we have an orderly Brexit or a no-deal Brexit, there has been reassurance, which I have given information about to our clients, that the Cyprus government has given a reply and a reassurance that no matter what, British residents in Cyprus will continue to enjoy the same rights that they currently do.
So there is an official announcement by the government.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Nikos Christodoulidis, in his reply to his counterpart, Mr. Jeremy Hunt, had given this reassurance. because at the same time UK had vouched that they would unilaterally respect and allow Cypriot citizens living in Britain, in the UK, the same allowance to live in the UK and continue to enjoy the rights that they do. And as a reply, Mr. Christodoulidis stated that Cyprus will ensure that the same goes for British citizens. So even though at the moment we don't know what will happen, those who have actually obtained residence in Cyprus, okay, and they have what we call the yellow slip, an MEU1 or MEU3 for permanent residence.
What is an MEU1 and what MEU3?
If you want to reside in Cyprus for more than 90 years, 90 days, yes, please, you get an MEU1, which is a temporary residence, allowing you to actually stay in Cyprus. Once you complete the 5 years, then you're entitled to to apply for permanent residency. So anybody who has done that prior to the 29th of March will continue to be able to do so. Now, what's the difference between having a Brexit, as we say, a hard Brexit, or an orderly Brexit? In a hard Brexit, the deadline is the 29th of March. There may be a slight transition period allowed by the Cyprus government, just to allow those people who have booked their appointment but have not been able to get in to have a small extension. But
so actually, the British citizens at the moment being in Cyprus, what will happen to him after that date?
As long as they apply now before the 29th of March, or book an appointment from now, even if it passes the 29th of March, yes, their rights will be secured.
So this means that we're keeping Denise in the country then? Yes. Okay. Denise, you got your passport. This is what I was going to ask now, Esme.
There's a small difference though.
Okay.
If there is it's an agreed and orderly Brexit, then there will be a transition period, okay, which will end on in December 2020. So anybody who actually is living in Cyprus or wishes to come and relocate to Cyprus until the December 2020, they will still continue to be able to apply for residency, obtain it, and live in Cyprus throughout their lives if they wish to get permanent residency. So we have this transition period is a big thing, but that's only the event that the Parliament agrees to the withdrawal agreement, as we hope will be amended now because they rejected the first version.
So again, I'm sorry, I'm using you, Denise, as an example all the time. Denise, you're in Cyprus since 2002, correct? Yes. Okay. Now, you have a Cyprus passport, you said now.
Yeah.
How did you get that?
I've lived there all them years, and I was over 7 years of living, and I applied.
So, Esme, can you tell us a little bit about what is this 7 years thing then?
Yes, you're entitled, if you live in Cyprus for 7 years, but cumulative, so any periods that you're out of the country do not count, obviously. You can obtain the Cyprus passport through what we call naturalization.
Yes, naturalization.
And that does not require any investment, of course.
I didn't have to pay 2 million.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we save you 2 million then. Okay.
That's one of the ways you can get the passport.
Okay.
The other way is what you mentioned with the investment.
Thank you. Lambros, how do you see Brexit in relations with taxes?
It's a tough one.
Difficult question.
I'll tell you why. It's a point of view, and I feel that UK, there is a possibility that exiting Europe will try also to exit the heavy regulation that exists within Europe, and possibly one way of them attracting or maintaining the investments into the city is to have an aggressive tax policy which effectively, although we're thinking otherwise now, can be a very big competitor to the rest of the financial centers in Europe, starting from Ireland, going into Malta, going into Cyprus. And I feel that, having said that, everyone from the Commonwealth effectively will then use UK. So I think taxes UK-wise, it will be a very interesting thing to see and a very interesting development. And to be honest, that was one of the thoughts that led us a year ago to decide and have a startup or a small operation here. In relation to taxes, as far as Cyprus is concerned, I don't envisage any sort of changes. But this is just an opinion.
So, Tasso, are you sharing the same thoughts as well with Lambros about this?
Yes, but let me elaborate a little bit about the corporate services. When discussing with our colleagues here in UK, we never mentioned that the UK companies after Brexit, they will relocate to Cyprus or to any other jurisdiction. However, we consider that Cyprus can be one of the destinations to work together with the UK mother company in the sense of giving access to the European funds and also promoting in terms of investment fund management. Because according to the law in Cyprus, you can be in the UK and use your license, of course, after satisfying specific criteria. So we have seen, as I said before, insurance companies, investment firms, investment funds, and fund managers interesting to come in Cyprus to work together with their mother companies here in UK. Now, in terms of taxes, Cyprus is considered to be a very tax-friendly environment, especially for those that are dealing with financial markets, with shares, with bonds, receiving dividends. One of our targets is to enhance more the family office services because, as Sava said, we have seen high wealth individuals coming into the country through this program. So all these people then, they will need the services in terms of their corporates, in terms of their planning of their personal assets. So I think there's a high potential in Cyprus to work together with the UK companies to promote the Cyprus as a corporate jurisdiction.
Tassos, can I dare to say that actually Cyprus is benefiting because of the Brexit?
It can be, let's say, a getaway and assisting UK companies that want to keep and have access in a very low, let's say, administration cost jurisdiction, since Cyprus is in the European Union. Besides that, as I said before, no one is targeting to convince the UK companies to relocate in Cyprus, rather than to work together and have this passporting and the access to the European funds, both for them and their clients.
Okay, thank you. Gina, can you tell us a little bit about how it's affecting shipping, the Brexit?
Yeah, well, basically, we've had quite a few of inquiries from shipping companies which are based in the UK that are interested in seeing how they can make some kind of an arrangement. That doesn't necessarily mean, because you said, if I may dare to say, that Cyprus can benefit from the Brexit. I'm one of those people who believe that nobody will benefit from the Brexit. But in terms of being able to accommodate some services such as shipping as a jurisdiction, definitely Cyprus is a preferred location for the benefits that I mentioned. It's easy, it's very easy to set up something. You can redomicile not the physical operations, but create a presence in Cyprus, so that might be sufficient at least until we've gone through this transition period following the Brexit to see how it will develop. And in the meantime, it also helps companies benefit from the benefits that we have under the shipping sector. And having also, what I forgot to mention before, the government works very closely with the private sector in shipping. So it's fully accommodating for these companies that want to create some kind of a structure in this respect. Then in this way, I do believe that quite a few companies from the UK will be opting for Cyprus in respect of shipping to sustain the European pass, if I may put it that way.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, Gina. Okay. Lampros is showing me his watch. It seems that the time has been passed very quickly. Okay, it's a big subject, the Brexit, and definitely, as previously I said, because when we put that subject in our on our panel for discussions, we was expecting that an agreement will be reached with the EU, but unfortunately things hasn't worked on this way. So under the circumstances, I would like to thank you everyone for being here tonight. All the panelists will be at the reception that will follow, so we can carry on our discussions with a drink. Thank you by heart for being here today. Thank you.